met at Millennium for the very first time in our promo careers. And yeah, after that match I cried. Not because I lost, but because I was so happy. We put on one hell of a show. We all did. Now you see, the history between Aussie versus WarChain isn't about two old timers that want one last run. No, Rick. The history of Aussie versus WarChain is about the honour and the respect we have for everybody here in the arts of wrestling. Our history is about the pain physically and emotionally, but most of all, Rick, and most important, why we do what we do. We do it for the thrill of entertaining the fans of the arts of wrestling. We live for this, Rick. Now I have family call me up and say, Chris, we know how hard the loss hit you at Millennium, but just remember how you bounced back and became one of the greatest entertainers the arts of wrestling has ever seen. And when I see how excited my 2-year-old son Chase gets when he watches our product, I know he will tell his children that their grandfather was one of the greatest. Now, Rick, you want to bury these moments? No, Rick. These moments are to be celebrated and be remembered for all time. Now, in January, I was in the main event at Millennium with you. And yeah, I didn't win that match. But you know what, Rick? It didn't matter. And I'll tell you why. Because we had over 1,500 people watch our match. We did our job. And just for 1 second after that match, Rick, 1 second, I heard my father's voice say to me, great job out there, son. You killed it tonight. That, to me, is the thrill of a lifetime. Now, according to you, Rick, I only have 2 brain cells left. And yes, my body hurts all over. But for as long as these fans of the arts of wrestling will allow me, I will crawl on my hands and knees to make it to the stage to give them one more memorable moment. I won't turn my back on them like you did, Rick. The Rick Bickle I knew loved the fans. But you have lost your way, brother. You have forgotten why we do what we do. You turned your back on the arts of wrestling's fans because your ego got too big. And for that, Rick Bickle, you have lost all of my respect. Now on to war, bitch. This is what it's all about. Title versus title, winner takes all. And you walk around here calling yourself a living legend. A self-proclaimed promo god. I'm getting a little bit sick and tired of hearing you spew that crap out of your mouth. What is it that Rick Bickle always says? All in, all in, all in. But what is the best one he says? If nobody else has got your back, this guy has. That is the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Now, Rick, you wear your hat backwards like you're a 14-year-old kid. You wear t-shirts that are about 3 times too small for you because you're trying to make it look like you got some kind of muscles. Rick Bickle, you are nothing more than a promo joke. And you talk about you're the measuring stick. Well, I took your measuring stick and I built you something special. Do you like it? Because this here will be your final resting place in the arts of wrestling. But you want this trash so bad, don't you, Rick Bickle? You want your PPF Heavyweight Championship back. Well, if you wanted it that bad, Rick Bickle, You can take this trash and you can shove it where the sun don't shine, 'cause I don't give two shits about it. I'll bury this trash along with you. It's time for you to hang up your boots, pack your bags, and ride off into the sunset. I came here for two reasons. To take that Art of Wrestling Elite Championship back home where it belongs. And to end your career. So Rick Bickle, when I close the lid on this casket, not only will I take that Elite Championship from you, but I shall take your career too. Arts of Wrestling, I ask you all to rise while we play America's national anthem. And we say our last goodbyes to the walking traitor known as War Bitch.
Independence Day. The main event has finally arrived, and I know every one of you are on the edge of your seat. You've waited all night for the foul Mouth Aussie and the WarChain. Title versus title. But as much as you keyboard warriors want it to be foul Mouth Aussie and the WarChain, tonight it's not about that at all. Tonight is about personal. Tonight is about Chris Bauer and Rick. In your last match, when you won the PPF Heavyweight title against Haystacks, you talked about pride, you talked about honor, you talked about respect, representing the brand, blah, 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 all of this shit that you don't know anything about. The first thing you did, what did you do, Chris? After you won the championship, the first thing you did was trash the Premier Promo Federation and that title. Anybody with eyes, anybody with ears, anybody who had half a brain saw it for themselves. The ego. The ego. Me and you have been up and down this road for years. Up and down. And you know, just as well as I do, everyone in front of and behind the damn camera may not have the balls to say it, but I will. Anywhere else in this entertainment world, you ain't shit. But for some reason, here in the arts of wrestling, they got your Moby-looking ass all pumped up to think you're a main event star. It's like they got a bicycle pump up your ass and two midgets going at it. Tonight, this shit ends. Tonight, you end. I have been forced to watch as you have slowly become everything we hate in this business, and it makes me sick. Just an overgrown child. Some little midget wearing a Baby Gap tank top. The same thing every time with a little bit of a raspy voice saying foul Mouth Aussie over and over and over again, copying Stone Cold Steve Austin. Talking about respect. Talking about honor. Something you wouldn't know if it slapped you in the mouth. So here we are, Chris. Here we are. Tonight's not about glitz and glamour. Tonight's about shutting the hell up and doing your job. Something you obviously don't do very well, because I don't know if you didn't get the memo. But I'm the guy, Rick, that they call when they need to build a brand. I'm the guy they call when they need validation. I'm the guy they call when they need asses in seats. I'm the guy they call when people like the foul-mouthed Aussie can't get the job done. There's some history for your ass. Since you wanted to become a historian, let me shed some history for you. Millennium. I went through the entire roster in a week's time, and I was excited as hell because I was told in the main event I was going to be meeting the foul-mouthed Aussie for the first ever Elite Championship. the most coveted prize in the arts of wrestling. I, Rick Bickle, the walk-in WarChain, was going one-on-one with you. And I watched and I waited, and that main event started, and Chris, shortly after, I turned to my wife and I laughed, Chris. I laughed. That's what I like about you, if I'm being perfectly honest. You make my job easy. And I don't even have to lift a finger. It's funny to me hearing you talk about your people, your company, pride and respect and honor. You don't know shit about it. But you will after tonight. Because tonight, the WarChain twists that wingnut you call a head off, shits down your neck, and gives you scars, both inside and out, that you will remember for the rest of your damn life. And from this day on, when you lay your head on the pillow and close your eyes and grip your pillow tighter and tighter and tighter and cry out in fear, you will remember the damn name, WarChain. I have watched your ego push you further and further and further forward until you have finally stepped in it, tripped and fell into an early grave, simply marked not good enough. Your shoulders aren't broad enough to carry this company, and you sure as hell ain't tall enough to look God in the damn eyes. And tonight, this shit ends. Tonight, the foul mouth Aussie. No, tonight, Chris Bauer ends.
Introducing the champion from Australia, weighing in at 220 pounds, he is the World Heavyweight Champion, Austin.
The pain train has arrived.
And introducing the champion from
The beautiful symphony of pain.
241 pounds, he is the World Wrestling Champion, WarChain.
The one and only ass kisser, head splitter, hit list fighter, and ripper. I am the measuring stick.